All right, so 2015, the Compton album comes out, and you appear on 2 songs, One Shot, One Kill with Snoop, and For the Love of Money with Jill Scott and Anderson .Paak, right?
Yes.
What was it like working on that album during that time with the movie and everything?
So couple cool things was Dre used to always have us come to the he would invite us sometimes on set. So that was really cool. That was my first time really being on like a Hollywood set and like seeing how a big budget movie was, is made. Shouts to F. Gary Gray, who directed Straight Outta Compton.
Amazing.
I love Gary,
bro.
man. Another unknown story is when I first got to California, I think I stayed at Gary's house for like 3-4 days, and we made Dre a song for his birthday. That's a whole nother story. So shouts to F. Gary Gray, man. Such a dope dude. But that was cool. And people got to remember around that time, I'm working on my album. So it's like I'm at another studio working on my shit, and Dre is at Record One working on his shit. And it was a very interesting time. That's when Justice and King Miz, started coming by around. And just the energy around the studio was real dope. Every day it was somebody coming over there to come listen to the music or come watch. And also Dre would show us what they shot that day of the movie. We would watch that shit together in like the living room of the studio. Man, it was very interesting. It was just a very interesting time because I battled with I was happy that album was coming out because I felt like, okay, if Compton actually comes out, then there's a good chance my album is probably gonna come out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was feeling good because there was a momentum and there was a conversation me and Dre had where he was like, yo, after this album, it's on you, like it's on. So I was happy, like, you know what I'm saying? I was happy for me, Justice, and King Miz, that we were these 3 young artists who have been doing it for a minute, and we was about to get this amazing look. I was happy for Dre, you know what I'm saying, for him to be putting out some music because I know people were clamoring for that. And he seemed like he was in a really happy and good space and happy about the people around him. So it was just a good time, man.
Yeah, because during that time, you were also considering wanting to leave Aftermath too, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. Because what's crazy, and it's that conversation, me and him was in the hallway, and he was like, John, after this, it's on you. And he said to me, he was like, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? That he was like, you've been chilling in the cut. You've been waiting. He was like, I got you. It's all good. Because, yeah, I was really considering it. I remember I was on the phone. I used to be on the phone with my manager at the time, Mo Cleaves, and my other manager, Young Sab. And I used to be like, man, I think it might be time for me to go. Like, because it just don't seem like, it just seemed like, the attention is kind of everywhere, and I don't know the actual possibility of this record actually coming out. So yeah, I was thinking about it at that time.
Because you were by the time Compton comes out, you had been signed for about 2 years now.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Right. So like when you started when you first started considering leaving, you were signed for like what, like a year and a half, a year? Or...
Yeah.
So what was it about that was just making you feel like the focus, like the attention shifted from you to being on something else?
Well, because I feel like it went from having a plan to now let's have this new plan. So now the plan is getting fuzzier and fuzzier and more blurry by the day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's almost like, we came in and we were going to put out Unconscious State as, you know what I'm saying, like a re-release. But then it changed from that to why don't we just make your album right now? And then now we start working on the album, but now we're working on Dre's album. So now the attention is split. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, okay, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Because now his attention is getting pulled away, you know what I'm saying, to movie stuff and all of the things that he has to handle as Dr. Dre, the artist, the film producer and all of those things. At the time, my 2 managers, they had other obligations as well. So one of my managers, Martin Cleaves, he was a sports broadcaster. You know what I'm saying? On I believe it was CBS Sports at the time. So he wasn't there all the time with me, so he would be traveling. Then my other manager, Kendall Freeman, he was the vice president of Maybach Music, so he was traveling all the time. So I kind of just felt like lost in the sauce. Like I felt like at that time I was nobody's priority. You feel me?
Right. So during that same year, you also appear on the documentary 2.5, right? On the song
Yeah.
Moment of Violence. How did that song come about?
Game came to the studio, I feel like, to do that song that's on the Compton album.
Right.
The song he got on the Compton album?
I forgot the name of the song, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Damn, I wanted to say the name of the song just then. But me and Game had met a long time ago in Flint. And so when he was in the studio at Aftermath, I walked in the room and I was
Just
like, man,
another day.
just another day. Just another day in Compton. Yep. So I tapped him and I was like, hey man, I don't know if you remember me, but we met a long time ago. And he was like, yo, do I remember you? And he was with a young lady and he was like, I met this motherfucker in Flint, Michigan. He said, do you know where the fuck Flint, Michigan is? And then she was like, no, he was like, this nigga's from the grimiest motherfucking, the grimiest motherfucking city in the world. He like, nigga, what the fuck? So he gave me like the loving embrace. And he like, yo, and he said to me, he was like, yo, if I met you in Flint and I'm seeing you again in this motherfucker, man, take my number, dog. So we exchanged numbers, and I always had love for Game, man. And he definitely always gave me game anytime we crossed paths with each other. And how that song came about was him and Dre was working on it in the studio, and then I had wrote some things to it. So did King Miz and so did Justice, and that's how it came to be, because him and Dre was already working on it. And I think that Moment of Violence song was originally for Compton. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why we were all working on it. But then Compton got completed and then it ended up on Game's album.
Wow, dope, man. Shout out to Game, man.
That was the Game, man. Solid dude, man. He took me to a strip club in Detroit. I don't know if he remember that, but he definitely did. I was young as fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he came through. And yeah, we kicked it. It was me, him, a couple of the homies, man. And he showed us a good time. It was dope, man.
This was before the Dre deal?
This is way before the Dre deal. I might send you the picture, dog. Like, I'm young as fuck. And I'll never forget it, too. Because I was starstruck when I first met the Game. And one of his homeboys was like, hey, this nigga starstruck. And pointed at me and shit. And I was like, oh, they can tell I'm starstruck. This is crazy as hell. Because I grew up a fan of Game. And I definitely was, man. I definitely have always respected Game as an artist and as an MC, man. But, yep, if I got signed in 2013, that shit, me and Game and Mo and them and the strip club, that's probably 2010.
Wow, okay. So how did you cross paths?
So I had a homeboy in Flint. He worked at the radio station. Shouts to, his name is Ian Richards. He's a DJ now in Miami. And anytime artists would come through the radio station, he would call me because he believed in me. So he would be like, yo, such and such is at the radio. You need to come give them your music. Such and such is at the radio station. So anytime it was like a big artist that came to the radio, he would call me and I'd come up there. So when Game came up there, he called me and that's how we met.
Wow. And then he just randomly like invited you to the strip club.
Because he heard the music and he fucked with the music. And then him and my manager at the time, Mo Cleves, they got to chopping it up. And it was just love vibes. And he like, yo, I'm gonna fuck with y'all. Y'all come fuck with me at the strip club tonight. I'm gonna do an appearance tonight. Y'all come fuck with me. And it was real. And we came through and it was love.
That's dope, man.